from potential first-round bust to NFC champion and possibly Super Bowl champion. The comeback story of Sam Darnold, or Slingin' Sammy D, as they call him on the streets. It needs to be studied. I'm going to explain why in this video. If you're new here, please subscribe to the Era Network. Yes, we changed the name, but it is still the same great content. The NFL, college football, and college basketball from a business standpoint. This community is growing rapidly. I'd love for you to be a part of it, so hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So, Sam Darnold. He certainly made a case for himself at USC to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. I mean, you saw what he did in that Rose Bowl against Penn State. The 15-point comeback, that touchdown pass to tie the game late in the fourth quarter. I mean, that game alone was a work of art. But it was the collective body of work that Sam Darnold's assembled, put together at USC that minted him as a first-round pick in 2018. I mean, in his 2016 season, he had 31 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And in 2017, he threw for over 4,000 yards. But those are just stats. All right, yes, he has a great arm. He had great accuracy coming out of college, a great pocket presence. All of those tangibles that you would want out of a quarterback. But the reason why Sam Darnold was being pegged as a franchise quarterback was his intangibles, his leadership skills. He'd been known as a guy who was great at communicating with teammates, motivating them, and bringing a team together, aligning them under a common goal. Sam Darnold had a reputation for that at USC, and it was assumed by NFL scouts that he would bring that same impact to an NFL franchise one day. So, while Sam Darnold didn't go number 1 overall in the 2018 class, there's a lot of debate, a lot of opinions going into this draft, as y'all remember. Some people forecasted Sam Darnold to go number 1 overall. Some people forecasted Baker Mayfield to go number 1 overall. Some people said Josh Allen. Some people said Josh Rosen, believe it or not. But it was Baker Mayfield who went number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns. And Sam Darnold fell all the way to number 3 to the New York Jets. And it's safe to say that that was not an ideal destination for Sam Darnold, because as a franchise, when you draft a quarterback, when you draft an elite first-round prospect like Sam Darnold, you have to be prepared for him. You have to have the infrastructure in place for him to succeed, for him to thrive instantly. The Jets were not the least bit prepared at all. They were coming off of a 5-11 season in 2017, but more than that, they're just a very dysfunctional organization. They still are to this point, but the Jets had a subpar offensive line going into 2018, so Sam Darnold wasn't going to be protected. Didn't exactly have a great collection of receivers. The backfield wasn't great either. And this was a very old, aging Jets team. There are a lot of guys on this Jets team that were great at one point, but were in the latter halves of their respective careers. I mean, listen to this. Sam Darnold's running backs during his time with the Jets were Bilal Powell, Le'Veon Bell after the whole Steelers saga, and Frank Gore, who was nearing 40 years old. Frank Gore would have been great back in 2011 for the Jets, but 2020? Not exactly. He was at the tail end of his career at that point. And Sam Darnold also had 2 different head coaches and 2 different offensive coordinators in 3 seasons with the New York Jets between 2018 and 2020. He left in 2021. So, very chaotic atmosphere, a lot of turnover, not a lot of support, not a lot of guardrails, and a once talented, or I don't want to say once talented, a once confident quarterback in Sam Darnold had lost his confidence, had lost his vigor, had lost his aura, and needed a fresh start. As you saw at one point in 2020, Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. He lost his confidence. He wasn't seeing the field the same he was before. He wasn't believing in himself he was before. And it was, a lot of it had to do with his circumstances. That's just how it is. When you're a high first round pick as a quarterback, there's a chance you're going to go to a situation like that. And for that to be Sam Darnold's first destination, it wasn't great luck for him. It chewed him up. It spit him out. You also had the New York media on top of that as well. That doesn't do any favors for a rookie quarterback, for a young quarterback. And so in the 2021 offseason, Sam Darnold was traded to the Carolina Panthers. This was a fresh start for him. The Panthers were a slight upgrade from the Jets. They had a little bit better of an infrastructure in place, but it still wasn't the best organization compared to where Sam Darnold would go in the future. Sam Darnold started 3-0 as a starter for the Panthers. 3-0. However, that streak would be followed by a 1-4 run, and in early November of 2021, Sam Darnold would suffer a fractured scapula against New England Patriots. That put him on the 4 to 6 week IR. He would return in December, but believe it or not, the Panthers decided to rotate him with Cam Newton, because Cam Newton returned for a little while to sub in for Sam Darnold, but it was just a sloppy mess. The Panthers would finish 5-12 that season, and then in 2022, the Panthers would acquire Baker Mayfield, and they chose Baker Mayfield to start over Sam Darnold in 2022. And not only that, but Sam Darnold would suffer a high ankle sprain in the preseason in 2022, which would sideline him for 4 to 6 weeks on the IR to begin the season. So bad luck strikes again for Sam Darnold going into 2022. However, Sam Darnold would be activated on week 12, and he would finish for the Panthers that season with a 4-2 record. So despite all the adversity that he faced, Sam Darnold still had the Panthers competing for a playoff spot for an NFC South championship late in 2022, still found a way to lead the Panthers to victory more often than not. So you may ask yourself, what ends up happening with Sam Darnold in this offseason? Well, the Panthers traded Sam Darnold to the San Francisco 49ers in the 2023 offseason, and this would end up becoming one of the most pivotal moves in Sam Darnold's career. He only played in one game in all of 2023 for the 49ers, and it was on Week 18 against the Los Angeles Rams when the 49ers had already locked up the number 1 seed for the playoffs, so he was just playing in that Week 18 game to finish the season, and it was a loss, but that's not what matters. What matters with Sam Darnold's career developments in 2023 was the opportunity to be in the 49ers locker room, to be with that organization for that NFC Championship run, for the 49ers trip to the Super Bowl that season, because Sam Darnold, for the first time in his career, got to observe what a winning culture looks like, to see how Kyle Shanahan goes about his business, to see how John Lynch goes about his business, to see how Brock Purdy approaches the quarterback position. And then your guys on defense, your Nick Bosa's, your Fred Warner's, Christian McCaffrey as a running back. You got to observe that. And it was crucial for his development. And Sam Darnold has said this himself, just seeing the precision and the discipline that the 49ers team had in 2023 and Brock Purdy's approach to the quarterback position. It changed the way that he viewed the game and the quarterback position. It refreshed his perspective at a time where he needed the most. And Sam Darnold's time with the 49ers changed his trajectory as a player in a positive way forever. He would never be the same again in a very positive way. So in 2024, in that offseason, Sam Darnold was traded by the 49ers to the Minnesota Vikings, and he would be in a quarterback competition with rookie J.J. McCarthy, who unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury in the preseason of 2024. And so Sam Darnold was your assumed starter going into the 2024 season. Not a lot of people had high expectations for Sam Darnold and the Vikings that season, including myself. I will hold myself to it. I had the Vikings going, 6-11 in 2024. But nonetheless, Sam Darnold and this Vikings team clicked. He won 14 games as a starter. The Vikings went 14-4 in 2024. He had 4,319 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 102.5. His stats were off the charts. He looked more comfortable and confident than ever. A lot of that had to do with his time with the 49ers. He was just more confident and assured of himself. Like I had said, his perspective had been refreshed and rejuvenated. But for the first time in his career as a starter, he had structure around him. He had support around him. He was throwing to phenomenal wide receivers. He had a really good offensive line. He had a fantastic defense. He had a brilliant head coach in KOC. He had a great GM, great front office. And it proved to be phenomenal for Sam Darnold. And you would think that the Vikings would consider bringing him back in 2025. But no. They decided to go with their original vision and rock with 9. Rock with J.J. McCarthy going into 2025. And so Sam Darnold is on the road once again. And this is where he ends up where he is now. The Seattle Seahawks. And a lot of it had to do with Sam Darnold's final 2 games with the Vikings. They weren't great. But there are also other factors that you can equate in those games that led to the Vikings' downfall in the final 2 games of 2024, including that game against the Lions and the playoff game against the Rams. It wasn't all on Sam Darnold. Did he look great? Absolutely not. He did look stagnant and even lost in both of those Vikings losses. But you gotta look at factors such as the fact that Sam Darnold was sacked 9 times. 9 times. In that playoff game against the Rams. Those losses were not all on Sam Darnold by any means. But nonetheless, the Vikings viewed that as, we're going to rock with JJ as our guy. Sam, see you later. So he goes to the Seahawks. And Sam Darnold, once again, has support, has structure, great front office, Mike McDonald, JSN, Cooper Kupp, great backfields with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet until last week. Again, praying that he gets better with that knee injury. Seattle's defense, best in the NFL. I mean, for somebody that had such bad luck at the start of his career, is now stepping in shit wherever he goes. Is now walking into these great organizations. And it has worked wonders for Sam Darnold. He's never looked more confident. He's never looked more assured in himself than he does now. He just got done out-dueling Matt Stafford in an NFC Championship game. Sam Darnold absolutely thrived this season. Seattle wins the NFC West, clinches the number 1 seed, and they now just recently advanced to the Super Bowl and are favorites to win it all. Sam Darnold is on the team that is a favorite to win the Super Bowl. So yes, when you look at this whole story, it truly is wonderful. And if there's one theme that I can draw from Sam Darnold's story, I know it sounds cliche, but I'm going to say it anyways. Never give up. As a professional, as an athlete, as a competitor, never give up. Even if you have a slow, unfortunate, adverse beginning to your career, it can always get better. And it's not always on you. Sometimes it's the circumstances that are impossible to overcome, like the New York Jets. And all it takes is a San Francisco 49ers along the way to help pick you back up, develop you, give you that confidence back that you once had, that belief that you once had, that aura, and then get back to thriving again in environments like Minnesota and Seattle. The redemption can always happen. You just got to hang in there and not give up. That has been the story of Sam Darnold. It's been incredibly inspiring. It's been inspiring to me as a fan to watch. And I want to know what y'all think. Has this been inspiring to you? The riveting story of slinging Sammy D. It's been phenomenal. And I can't wait to see what him and the Seahawks do in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. But that is the story of Sam Darnold. That is the comeback story of Sam Darnold. And it's damn good. We live for these stories in the NFL. That's what it's all about, those positive stories. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day.